Jai Tulsi Maharani ki jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who just like desire trees, fulfill the desires of everyone, full of compassion for fallen, conditioned souls, Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Alrighty. Oh, 2 garlands. I don't know what I did to deserve this. Okay, thank you. Okay. Go, Ranga. Ouch. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Mupijana Malabar Giripada Adi Gopi Nanamanaba Giribada Dhamude Giri Badatat Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Unatira Banachade Yamunatera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari
Gopidano Balaba Yirivadudamute Gopidana Balaba Yirivadudamute Yasodanandana Braja Janodandana Yasodanandana Braja Janodandana Yamuna Tira Vanachadi Yamuna Tira Vanachadi Jayarad Umadova Kunyabikhahote Jayarad Umadova Kunyabikhahote Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya. Also tell us it's Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya. Chalanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shitwaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radhakrishna Gopika Sayamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Maturadam Ki Jai. Jagadnath Swami Ki Jai. Yamunamaya Ki Jai. Srimati Lasa Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharni Nivasesha Shunyavadi Paschachate Shatardi. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 47th chapter, text 60. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nayang Shriya Anga O Nitanta Rate Prasada Swar Yoshitam Nalina Ganda Rucham Kuto Anya Rasotsave Asham Bhuja Danda Grihita Kanta Labda Shisham Ya Udagan Braja Vallabhinam Nayam Shriyanga Unitanta Rate Prasada Swaryoshitam Nalina Ganda Rucham Kutonya Rasotsavesya Bhujatanda Grigita Kanta Labdashisham Yaduragad Rajavallabhinam Nayam Shriyanga Unitanta Rate Prasada Swaryoshitam Nalina Ganda Rucham Kutonya Rasotsavesha Bhujadanda Gregita Kanta Labdashisham Yauragad Rajavallabhinam Nayam Shriyanga Unitanta Rate Prasada Swaryoshitam Nalina Ganda Rucham Kutonya Rasotsavesha Bhujatanda Gregita Kanta Labdashisham Yaudagad Rajavallabhinam. Okay. Ganda Grita Ganda Okay. Anyone else? Na, not. I am this. Shia of the goddess of fortune. Ange on the chest. U, alas. Nitantarate, who is very intimately related. Prasada, the favor. Swa, of the heavenly planets. Yoshitam, of women. Nalina, of the lotus flower. Ganda, having the aroma. Rucham, and bodily luster. Kutaha, much less. Anya, others. Rasa utsave, in the festival of the rasa dance. It's interesting. It's rasa utsave, not rasa. Anyway, interesting. So, Asya of Lord Sri Krishna. Bhujadanda, by the arms. Grihita, embraced. Kanta, their necks. Labda Asisham, who achieved such a blessing. Ya, which Udagat became manifest. Brajapalapinam, of the beautiful gopis, the transcendental girls of Brajabhumi. So, translation. When Lord Sri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Rasa Leela, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or other consorts in the spiritual world. Indeed, never was such a thing even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. And what to speak of worldly women, who are very beautiful according to material estimation. So you can repeat. When Lord Sri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Rasa Leela, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or other consorts in the spiritual world. Indeed, never was such a thing even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. And what to speak of worldly women, who are very beautiful according to material estimation. So, purport by His divine grace, by the servants of His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The word meanings and translation for this verse are taken from Srila Prabhupada's English rendering of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila 880. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments as follows: Lord Krishna, the best of all avatars, exists on the highest platform of purity and morality, and thus he always remained praiseworthy by all, even while accepting the worldly criticism for his cow tending. So who gave him criticism for that? Anybody know? Shishupal, that's right. So was Shishupal criticized him for that? What's that? Yeah. Well, that's also in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Then you have Kamsa's mother, Padmavati. That's the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Kamsa's mother, Padmavati, criticizing the residents of Vrindavan for engaging someone like Krishna in cow tending and not feeding him that much. Wandering in the forest, taking meals with young monkeys. Taking meals with young monkeys. Stealing yogurt, seducing other men's wives, and so on. Similarly, the gopis, who are constituted of the Lord's pleasure potency, achieved the highest standard of purity and auspiciousness, even in comparison to the goddess of fortune, and thus the gopis are supremely glorious, even though they were criticized by worldly people because they were mere coward women living in the forest and behaving in an apparently improper way. So I'll read the verse again. Nayam Shiyonga Nitanta Rate Prasada Swaryoshitam Nalina Ganda Richam Kutonya Rasotsavesha Bhujadanda Grihita Kanta Labda Shishamya Udagad Rajabalabinam. So Omagana Tibrandasha Yananjana Shlakayat Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So before commenting this, I just want to make one comment based on the translation. It says, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or other consorts in the spiritual world. It's not simply being embraced, because actually we find in the Krishna book that who is embraced by Krishna besides the gopis? Anyone know? Well, Kuja and Rukmini. You know, Prabhupada comments in the section where Krishna's household life is being described in the Krishna book, that even though Krishna was, lying in bed, comfortably embraced by his wife, when the peacocks crowed, not the chicken cocks, crowed, then Krishna got up, and that's an ideal householder. So sometimes the ladies say to their husbands, therefore you should follow Krishna's footsteps and embrace me. Anyway, that's another subject matter. So, but the transcendental favor that was given to them was, of course, the rasa dance, not just being embraced by the arms of the Lord, but the rasa dance and basically violating all sorts of social norms in order to be with the gopis of Vrindavan. So, let's read a little bit from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Actually, before that, I want to mention this. I better put this on silent. So, this particular verse is actually quite a popular verse, and it's appears several times in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita too. And two of the times that it occurs that I come to memory, one time is with the interaction between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy, where he's describing the exalted position of the gopis. As we know in the Ramananda Samvada, that means the discussion. Samvada, actually, it's interesting. Samvada means perfect discussion. Like vada means a discussion or philosophical discourse, and in which one is coming to a higher understanding. There's different names for different types of discourses, but vada means coming, the idea of coming to the perfect conclusion, isn't it? When you're talking about argumentation or people who are having discussions, it means coming to a perfect conclusion. Some people have discussions just to establish what? Their own superiority. So in this particular case, between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy, they were actually having the discussion to understand what is the absolute truth. And actually, Prabhupada's book, written on the Ramananda Samvada, is called In Search of the Absolute Truth. Has anyone read that book before? I have a copy of it anyway. If anyone's interested, I have a copy on the internet, an e-copy. So, anyway, so in this discussion, Ramananda Roy is acting basically as the teacher, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking him these Mayutic questions. You know, understand Mayutic? Anyone understands that? It means midwife. Midwife? Why midwife? Because midwife is someone who delivers the baby, helps the wife deliver the baby, but she's not delivering the baby directly. So there's actually a philosophical methodology that people utilize to come to a higher understanding is they keep asking questions. You know, if it's not this, it's not that. So anyway, it's called Mayutic. That's the system that Socrates uses, or at least Plato uses when he's actually portraying Socrates. It's a very interesting point because when Lord Chaitanya is actually using this particular system because he's asking Ramananda Roy, what's the highest, and then what's the methodology for achieving the highest? And Ramananda Roy, as you know, starts out with what? Varnashram, and Lord Chaitanya rejects that as external, and he gradually goes up and up and up. I'm not going to talk about the whole Ramananda Samvada, but coming to the position of the gopis, and then the position of Srimati Radharani, the highest. And in this particular context, he quotes this particular verse, and that's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also the Ramananda Samvada. And then the other time it's used in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is in the interaction between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Venkata Bhatta in Srirangam. So what is that interaction? That's when Lord Chaitanya remained for 4 months of the rainy season, the Chaturmasha period, in Srirangam, and he stayed in the house of Venkata Bhatta, and they had this very interesting discussion, which was done in a joking way, which is quite interesting because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Venkata Bhatta developed a very, very close relationship. And when you have a close relationship, you can tease someone. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teasing Venkata Bhatta. He was saying, first of all, Lord Chaitanya said to Venkata Bhatta that your Lakshmi, that's interesting, is supposed to be the most chaste lady. So why is she want to associate with that Krishna? Why is she given up and performed all these austerities for hundreds or thousands of years to associate with Krishna? And then Venkata Bhatta knew the philosophical explanation for this. He knew the ontology. Ontology means the nature of Krishna and the nature of Lord Narayan. And he said, actually, Krishna and Narayan are the same person. He understood this. And Krishna is Narayan in a pastime form. So then Lord Chaitanya said, okay, I accept that. But please tell me why, in spite, and this is where this verse comes into play, why in spite of executing austerities for all these particular years, was she not able to enter into the pastimes of Vrindavan, to the rasa dance? And Venkata Bhatta responds, this basically, I'm paraphrasing, this is above my pay level. That's how we would say nowadays. This, I don't know. And the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains that the reason is she's attached to her opulent position as Lakshmi. Now, what does that mean exactly? Does it mean that she's attached to all the jewelry she has? I don't think so. But being Lakshmi, she has this, this prestige, being very, very chaste. Because chastity, going into the traditional Vedic society, of course, Indian society nowadays it doesn't apply, but chastity was held in very high esteem. I mean, you find stories like Devahuti, in order for her parents to protect her chastity, she wasn't even allowed out of the house, right? She had to do her sporting activities, on the roof of the house. Should we do that nowadays with the young girls? And there's the Gandharva, Chitra something, So he was, Chicharath, he was flying through the air, and he happened to see her. She was so beautiful that he what? Fell out of his airplane. So, and then even you have another story about this chastity, was the story of Usha and Aniruddha, right? That Usha had a fantastic father, always wanted to protect her. He was a nice guy, Manasura. And he just kept her in a room. You know, she couldn't see any other man, right? Except for eunuchs and her own father, probably uncle and everything like that too. So she was protected. And then when he discovered that this handsome man named Aniruddha was with her, by the mercy of Chitraleka, then he got really upset. You know, my daughter's chastity has been violated. I mean, it was considered like so important in society. So important. I mean, sometimes even nowadays in Indian society, like, of course, ABCD is another issue. But the parents are very worried, you know, if their daughter has had a boyfriend or something, or had some relationship, or there's some scandal, how are they going to find a husband for her? You know, just like great anxiety on the part of the parents. And even if there is some scandal, they just keep it under what? Under the table. You know, we're not going to talk about it. Don't tell anyone. You know, there's all this secrecy in India, isn't it? All this secrecy. You know, someone can have one scandal. It's not even their fault. And it's, you know, it's a secret. Don't tell anyone about it. And we deal with this all the time. So, anyway, just giving you a little sociological perspective of what the gopis did. You know, nowadays, you know, some young boy plays a flute and you join him in the forest, you know, just Hare Krishna, you know. Not in India. In America, you'd be happy it was just a boy who joined your girl in the forest. Right? And you'd be happy if your girl stayed as a girl. You know, so you're talking about a little different culture here. Like I was talking to one of my disciples who's at the Christian house in Gainesville, and he said, oh my God, it's so hard for me to preach. She's from India. She said, it's so hard for me to preach to the Western people because I can't figure out, you know, he, she, it, they, you know, whatever. What pronoun am I supposed to use? And she says, therefore, you know, the devotees there to just send her preaching to the Indian people when they come, the other ABCDs. So, anyway, so this is the context that, you know, just like even the point made here about Krishna's criticized for herding cows. You know, it's just like, it's such a hierarchical society, right? That's really the point, you know, really hierarchy. I mean, just like even on the GBC level, I've been dealing with something recently about hierarchy. We have this kirtan ministry, and they want to pass all these rules that basically, if there's only initiated people should lead kirtan in the temple. And, you know, I'm fighting against them because I'm not interested in hierarchy. That not Indian people, almost going to get to that point. But anyway, so, and you can't, you know, if you're chanting Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, you can't have someone in the back, you know, some of the audience say, Nityananda, it's against the law. So, but anyway, so the point is that, I mean, all this hierarchy, and I was explaining that, you know, sometimes we encourage new devotees, even though there may be so many older devotees present, isn't it, to lead kirtan. It's just like, and it's very encouraging, isn't it? Yeah, and, you know, and so there's a whole talk about seniority and everything like that. And so, you know, Western world is completely different. So, and actually this was a Western person who's in charge of the kirtan ministry. But anyway, that's another subject, who used to play a trumpet. Anyway, So we're having this whole discussion. I'm just giving you a little insight right out of the GBC conference about this whole thing. Kirtan is to encourage people. The holy names don't wait for initiation, right? So who's to say some new devotee who comes to temple is not more advanced than me? I don't know. Who was that person in the last life? Who was he or who was she in the last life? So anyway, so you have this hierarchy there, which is pointed out in this particular purport here. People criticize Krishna for taking care of cows. I mean, in America, if I took care of cows, would anyone criticize me? Even outside the movement. They wouldn't think, that's cool. But in India, at that time, it was very hierarchical. You have to understand social pressure, people talking behind your back. Some of you who come from India will understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's a prince, but he was taking care of cows. Yeah, who is this guy? We don't know what his caste is. His caste consciousness like that. We don't know what Chris Ishbal was saying. We don't know what his caste was. Yeah, so really the point is what the gopis did and what Krishna did is violating all souls. Even Krishna violated social norms. Sneaking out in the middle of the night to dance with girls. He was violating social norms. He didn't violate social norms for Rukmini. Although it mentioned, actually one of the things I'm not going to get a chance to read, is that Rukmini did violate some social norm by sending a letter to someone against her parents' permission. That's actually mentioned, I believe, in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Let me get this quote. I actually had a lot more quotes, but I'm not going to get a chance to read it. Say, Rukmini, this is from Brihad Bhagavatamrita 3.5.190, in case you're interested. That Rukmini is renowned as the dearest queen of Hari, but in spite of having abandoned the religious principles of an aristocratic maiden, just to satisfy Lord Achyuta's desire, which was actually writing the letter without permission. But getting kidnapped was not violating their religious principles. That was actually bona fide. What's that? Yeah, but that's not. See, she went against her parents' order. She's very forward. She said, "Just kidnap me." That for a woman to do that in that culture is just not acceptable. It's a violation of those cultural religious principles. It says, despite having, this is from the translation of this verse, despite having abandoned the religious principles of an aristocratic maiden, just to satisfy Lord Achyuta's desire, despite having once almost died in fear from a few of his joking words. That's the Krishna book story, 10th canto. She cannot obtain a trace of the gopis' good fortune. So, wait a second. We'll take questions at the end of class anyway. So anyway, the main point I'm making here is that the gopis relinquished, gave up everything that was important in society at that particular point to satisfy Krishna. And Krishna also sacrificed, his particular position in society in the sense that he was doing something that really, young boys running out in the middle of the night meeting with girls is not permitted either. It's not only the gopis were violating that. So, anyway, so that's one of the points there. Oh, anyway, so getting back, that was the discussion between Venkatapata and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Venkatapata ultimately became a Gaudiya Vaishnava. And the uncle, his brother, Venkatapata's brother, Prabhupada Saraswati, became one of the main acharyas in our disciplic succession. because of that discussion that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had, proving that the gopis' relationship with Krishna was higher than that of of Lakshmi with Narayan. So, I just want to read a little bit here. I have so many interesting quotes here. Here's a quote from the Brihad Bhagavatamrita 3.5.191. Though as attractive as the women of heaven, how can even the best of Krishna's queens compare to the gopis, even the main queens like Kalindi and Satyabhama or others headed by Rohini? So here's the commentary by actually Gopi Pranadana Prabhu and the other devotees. Despite possessing all heavenly beauty and good character, Krishna's 8 principal queens cannot hope even for a slight trace of the gopis' good fortune. So what to speak of Krishna's other 16,100 queens? And then there's actually the quote from this verse. Swayoshitum nalina ganda rucham kutonya. Never was such a good fortune even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets whose bodily lust and aroma resemble those of the lotus. So here's the point. Here's the actual point in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita 3.7.150. The gopis of Vrindavan have given up the association of their husbands, sons, and other family members who are very difficult to give up, and have forsaken the path of chastity to take shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda Krishna, who one should search for by Vedic knowledge. Oh, let me be so fortunate as to be one of the bushes, creepers, or herbs in Vrindavan, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their feet. So this is also a quote from the Bhagavatam. And in the commentary of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, by observing the glories of the gopis, by describing those glories in his own words, and by meeting the gopis in person, Uddhava is now completely absorbed in the gopis' special mood of loving Krishna. In this exalted state, he has now discovered his true heart's desire, which in this verse he prays to achieve as the final fruit of all the service he has done for Krishna. In his next life, he hopes to become one of the plants in Vrindavan and receive the dust from the gopis' feet. The enthusiasm Uddhava gains from expressing this wish inspires him to say more about the greatness of the gopis. So anyway, so we can take some questions now. Gopal, you had a question? The first verse, I have so many verses that I didn't quote from. There is 35190. There's a whole series of verses there. About before that, 35190 was there's text. Anyway, there's 35191. There's a whole series, like from 89 to 93, 193, that deal with that. And there's also Brihad Bhagavatamrita 37150. Is that the one you're thinking of? 37150. So any other questions? Gopal, you have a question. No, he wasn't, but she was violating by, basically by going against the whole arrangement that was made, and by being so forward. I mean, that's how strict the culture is. I mean, what to speak of someone girls running out in the middle of the night to dance with someone. I mean, phew. What? Dropping off their babies. Come on. I mean, this is just like, put it in the cultural context and you'll understand. Put it in America and it doesn't make sense. So they gave up all respect, whereas Lakshmi, contrasting, did not give up that respectable position. What? Yeah, it's considered really bad. Yeah, for child neglect. I mean, yeah, even in America, they violated some principles. Okay, all glory is His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindanalayataptam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Hagom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Kriya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Davamanam Param Vishamachanta Todruja Pya Rudantamunetra Yugmam Prishantakam Karambuja Jugmena Satankanetram Yugmam Prishantakam Mohosasakam Patre Rekankakanta Sitagravam Damodaram Bhakti Badam Madaram Bhakti Badam Iti Drikshvalera Bear Ananda Kuneke Swagocham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Nanda Kuneke Swagocham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Dadiyeshita Gesho Maktajitagatam Punakrematas Tam Chachavriti Vande Varam neva mokshamna mokshavatim vaha nachamra vrinayam vahureshad apiha Idam Tevapur Natab Gopala Badam Sadamimanas Yavirastam Kimanjai Idam Trimukambojam Achantanilai Ritam Kuntalai Snigda Ratai Shagopya Mohoshimitam bimba Ratadadame Manasyavirastam Alam Laksha Labai Namo Deva Namo Da Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukkha Jalabdi Magnam Kripatristi Vrishta Titinam Vatagantu Grahane Shamamagyam Nehi Yakshi Drisa Kuverat Majovada Muchaiva Janvagat Tvaya Muchitao Bhakti Bajau Krito Chow. Tata Prima Bhakti Swakame Priyacha Namokshe Guraho Mesti Damodareha. Namaste Sudam Nespur Radipti Damne Twadiyota Rayatha Vishvashadamne. Namo Radhikaya Echvatiya Priyaya Namo Nantale Laya Devaya Tubhyam. Namo Mishwaram Satchit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kunalam Gokule Brajamanam Ananda Rupam Yasoname Yoluka Lad Davamana Paramrishnamat Yandato Chuchagopya. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha. Jaya Radha Golokanana Radha Golokanana Radha. Jaya Radha, hey, Jaya Radha, Jaya Radha, Jaya Radha. Jaya Radha, hey, Radha, Jaya Radha, Jaya Radha. Jaya Radha, Jaya Sri Radha. Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahansa Paravidakacharya also tell us that to Shimad, His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti, Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha, Shivasiti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopikapanath Sayama Kunda, Radhakunde Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Maturadam Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Yamunamaya Ki Jai, Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and his mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes. He shivered in fright, and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord, Sri Damodar, who is bound by his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drown the inhabitants of Gokul in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who were attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes might constantly appear in my mind. Our Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I'm drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me. Uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastime. Lord Damodar Ki Jai.
Quick announcement that we're having Harinam on Saturday in Chapel Hill from 5 to 7. There's a football game. It'll be a big crowd there. Hare Krishna. Chintamani Chaito Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Vardhani Sarva Shakti Tatrapitani Amita Smarane